Welcome to your daily news and your stimulus package update for January 23rd, 2021. It is Friday, and happy Friday. So we're going to start with some rather good news. Joe Biden, as everyone knows by now, unless you're living under a rock, has been elected as the 46th President of the United States. That means that the House, the Senate, and the presidency is now all Democratic. Now, this can be a good thing for millions of Americans. I'm going to dive into what or how it can affect you here in a second. But before we get started with that, let's start with some political news. House member Andy Harris was stopped yesterday morning for attempting to bring a loaded gun onto the House floor. Now, it's very, very clear about, what happened January 6th, and I understand that it's a possibility that he was bringing the gun to potentially protect himself. However, there are strict rules that there are no firearms. You cannot bring any firearms onto the House floor, and this has been a very clear requirement from House members since the Civil War. I'm not saying if I'm for or against it, but this just seems to get more and more crazier every day. Everyone know what happened January 6th, with the riots and everything. And for this guy to try and, bring a gun to the house and just kind of, casually just do it, it kind of sets some alarms. He did not deny it, and he actually did try to, after going through a metal detector, and he tried to give the gun to one of his colleagues, which is not a licensed gun owner. Also, there are 7 Democrats in the Senate that have requested that Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley resign or essentially just be fired for their incitement of the insurrection that happened January 6th. If you guys do not know, Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri, I believe, and Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas, both objected to the Electoral College. Ted Cruz objected to Arizona certification of Joe Biden, and Josh Hawley objected to Pennsylvania certification of Joe Biden. Now, the reason that this is so confusing to me is that people can make the argument about the BS claims of voter fraud. It's clear there was no voter fraud by now. If you still believe there's voter fraud, then you have some serious issues at this point. It's been court case after court case by, Republican appointed judges from Trump himself, and all these cases have been thrown out. There was no voter fraud. Anyhow, Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, one of many congressmen who objected to the certification of Joe Biden, failed to mention that, in their state, that they were also on the ballot. It wasn't just Joe Biden versus President Trump. It was Joe Biden, President Trump, and then you picked whichever senators you wanted elected. So if there was some type of voter fraud, which there clearly wasn't again, should we be looking into their certifications as well? I don't want to open up a can of worms, but it's kind of playing the double standard in a weird way. Like they voted for you, but they did not vote for Trump, so there must be an issue. It's not how democracy works. All right, moving forward. So we have a new press secretary, Jen Psaki, and she spoke a little bit about the $1.9 trillion package, which Joe Biden is proposing. And here's a couple interesting details. So there's a discrepancy that a lot of people are arguing is that Joe Biden promised $2,000 stimulus checks for everybody. He did say that. I think he said that in the Georgia runoff. If Georgia wins, then you can pretty much guarantee $2,000 stimulus checks. Now, the problem that we're having right now is that we don't know if Joe Biden was saying, is that all included in addition to the $600 stimulus check passed by the previous administration, or is this just $2,000 separately? So Jen Psaki gave us some insights on what his proposal will include, and he's going to come out later today and speak about it specifically. But so there will either be a additional $1,400 check, or there will be a $1,400 amendment, or there will be a $2,000 check or a $2,000 amendment. Now I'll tell you guys the difference. So if Joe Biden makes this a $1,400 amendment or $2,000 amendment, then you would not only get the $1,400 or $2,000 stimulus check, but you will also get that same amount for each dependent and spouse that you have, up to 3 kids. So let's say that Joe Biden comes out tonight and says that there will be a, let's just go with the bare minimum, there'll be a $1,400 amendment package. So you would not only get the additional $1,400, which makes it $2,000, you will also get $1,400 for each dependent that you have, including adult dependents. So this is a little bit different from what we were hearing before. Before it was just children. So all dependents on your 2019 taxes or 2018 taxes, if you haven't filed as of yet, if he makes this an amendment, you will get $1,400 for yourself, for your spouse, and for each dependent that you or your spouse claim. So that can be extremely huge, given that we just had a previous package where everyone got $600. So if you got a $600 check, and I know there's millions of people who have not, and I'm gonna dive a little bit into that a little bit later. If you did get the $600 check, you got $600 for yourself and for your spouse and for each dependent that you have under the age of 17. But this kind of changes the game because, like I said, this is for every dependent. So this can be very, very huge. We'll see if he confirms this later, but this is what's on the table right now. He also wants to extend unemployment, not just the last date that you can receive your unemployment check, which is currently in his proposal of September 30th. He also wants to increase the amount. So if you are on federal unemployment or the PUA, that's in his proposal is going to go from $300 to $400. So it's an additional $400 that you will be getting if his proposal goes through. Now, like I said, we have a new press secretary, Jen Psaki, and she's pretty confident that since the House, the Senate, and the presidency is all Democratic, and it's it's pretty close. It's a very slight lead. The only reason that the Democrats hold the Senate is because of what happened in Georgia. As everybody knows, the 2 senators from Georgia got the 2 Democratic seats, and then that makes it 50-50. And Kamala Harris, actually, the vice president of the United States, is the tiebreaker. So all they need is a 50-50 split, on this proposal right now, and then it's going to pass. Now, even if it doesn't pass, this can essentially just pass with just Joe Biden talking to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, to get this done. What I'm reading is we're just trying to get a bipartisan agreement, so there's no type of essential bullying, from the Biden administration coming in. But they do not need GOP support to pass this package. This is a very essential package, to at least start to talk about it. And if you need to edit it, do whatever. But American people need help right now. So if we do not do that, then we've already seen what the last 6 months look like of waiting just for a $600 check. This can only get worse. And it probably will get worse with or without this package, but this will help millions and millions of Americans if something along these lines get passed. Also, So I'm going to be mentioning September 30th throughout this video. This is the last day of the government's fiscal year. And that's when the government funding basically runs out. So a lot of these proposals will end up until September 30th. The eviction moratorium and the mortgage forbearance is also included in that. If you guys watched my previous videos, it was actually the eviction moratorium was actually supposed to end on January 31st. These are 2 executive orders which President Biden is signing today. So I know that definitely will help millions of people. There's, people who has not paid rent since April. And I feel for the landlords very, very bad. And I hope that they come up with something, better than just mortgage forbearance, for the landlords. It's brutal out there. And I feel for you guys. Food stamp food stamps or EBT will also increase 15% monthly through September 30th. Unfortunately, 30 million people hit food banks or claim to be food insecure this month alone. And, today is the 23rd. That's rough. That is extremely, extremely rough. It's sad to just see people in hunger, just hungry in general. But then you got to think about kids, which are essentially helpless if they don't have any type of adult guidance. And them being food insecure, it's a serious issue. So that's going to help millions of people. If you do not know how to apply for food stamps, just go on your local state's website, or just EBT and then Google your state. I think you should be able to find something along the lines of how to fill out an application. Also, in Biden's proposal, he's putting in a additional tax credit. Now, this tax credit may not apply. I'm not sure. Like I said, we're going to see what he says later. It may not apply until 2022 taxes, or within a year from now. So once you file your 2021 taxes, this may not apply, but this can help. So in this proposal for this new tax credit, I don't know, it could happen, now or this year. But in this proposal, he wants a additional tax credit for any children 0 to 5 years old to receive an additional tax credit of $3,600 when you file your taxes. And if you're between the ages of 6 and 17, you receive an additional $3,000 credit. That can be huge, because I think right now it's only around $2,000 tax credit for each child that you have now. And also you will have a triple amount of earned income. So right now, I believe federally it's $500 for earned income credit. That will jump up to $1,500 once you file your taxes. In his proposal right now, we're going to see how it goes. He will be speaking a little bit on everything tonight. Also, it'll be $15 billion in grant money for small businesses. Now, I did say grant, I did not say loan. If you guys do not know, the difference between a grant and a loan is grants you don't have to pay back, essentially. It may be a little paperwork involved, but you do not have to pay back. It is a grant. It is yours to keep. A loan, you do have to pay back, and it usually comes with interest. So we're going to see, again, later on what he says in his proposal, once he, clarifies what he wants exactly. So his proposal, like I said, is just a proposal right now, and it's not a bill. Now, there are many senators that are on board with this. There are many Republican senators that are on board with this. 2 that are not are Mitt Romney and Angus King. Mitt Romney is New Mexico, and Angus King is Maine. Now, Mitt Romney says that we do not need a stimulus package because we just passed a $900 billion stimulus package. Everyone got $600 if you're individual, and you got $600 as a dependent over the last 6 months. Mitt Romney's net worth is $250 million. Angus King from Maine, his is $6 million. My opinion is, they are complete morons and they don't know the reality of life. It's easy for them to say that, hey, we just you just gave you $600, so you should be okay. That doesn't even cover most people's electric bills at this point, let alone food or rental assistance or gas or clothes for their children. You know, like, I'm sorry, it kind of angers me that someone with that type of net worth is still trying to block humanity for millions of Americans that need it. So, say what you want. Screw you, Mitt Romney, and screw you, Angus King. And that is a very generous choice of words of mine. There are millions of Americans that are struggling. There are millions of Americans that have died. And for you to say that we don't need that right now is an issue. And this is for the people that really need it. Of course, there's some people that's milking it, but that's just what it is. You know, like, we need to act now, because if we don't, more people will die, more people will become homeless. You know, it just gets worse and worse. If this is passed, if Joe Biden's proposal is passed within the next couple of months, it is estimated that the U.S., the whole country, United States of America, will create 7.5 million jobs by December. That's by December. That's just jobs. You know, and going back to Mitt Romney and Angus King, you know, they say, well, the economy is doing, you know, a little bit better now. The economy is doing great because they look at the stock market. The stock market does not include the 900 million people who filed for unemployment last week alone. The economy does not, you know, the stock market does not reflect the economy of people who are still looking for a job and not eligible for unemployment. These are millions of people. There's an estimated 8 million people who have not received a stimulus check yet. And that is an issue. And Joe Biden's plan is also to create his team, the Secretary of Treasury, and their entire department to track down those 8 million people who are eligible to receive a stimulus check and who have not. So this is big. So if you have not received your stimulus check yet, the press secretary literally just got done giving a speech about an hour ago, and they are telling everyone, if you have not, to check the website very frequently. Today, they are working on building a portal for you if you have not received a stimulus check. So if you have not received a stimulus check, the first one, the second one, continue to check the IRS website, irs.gov. There's a lot of BS websites out there. It's just irs.gov. And from there you can, you know, navigate your way to find where the portal is going to be. Right now, there's just a Get My Payment tool, which is kind of useless. They did address that, and they are working very hard, according to what they said, on building this new portal for everyone. So this can be potentially good news. You know, it can be potentially good news. We had a ton of bad news for the last year or so, just during this pandemic, but this can be huge. So I will keep you guys updated as much as possible. Like I said, my job is to seriously just unite everyone and to help the regular American people. You know, we're so divided right now for whatever reason, but the reality is, you know, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, it don't fucking matter. You know, we are Americans at the end of the day. So we need to help each other. So this is why I make these videos, to help the struggling people, just to keep people updated on, you know, the real news that, you know, can benefit them. So if you are enjoying this channel, you are enjoying the information that I'm giving, if you find any value out of it, please subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll save you guys a bunch of time of, you know, all the news articles and everything that I read, and I will just let you guys know the real news that you deserve to know. And I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Talk to you soon.